you have these two supply overhangs plus the halving that are causing some churn right now. And I would just caution people not to be selling their Bitcoin into that. Stay patient, wait till the end of the year to see what I think will be very robust price appreciation. I think if Vice President Harris speaks at the Bitcoin conference, that is great for the industry. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, whoever you would like to be president in 2025, if you're in this industry, you want that president, he or she, to be pro-positive regulatory reform that's innovative and that benefits this industry.
Scaramucci begins by discussing the cyclical nature of the cryptocurrency market, emphasizing the significance of Bitcoin halving. He explains that the halving event reduces the number of coins miners receive from 900 to 450 per day. This reduction in supply, combined with the necessity for miners to remain competitive and profitable, creates a temporary price dip. However, he notes that the hash rate, which measures the computational power of the Bitcoin network, is starting to rise again. This indicates that the market is stabilizing and that the supply overhang is diminishing. Scaramucci highlights several external factors influencing the cryptocurrency market. He points out that the German government sold 50,000 bitcoins, which added to the supply overhang. Additionally, he mentions the Mt. Gox bankruptcy, where creditors are set to receive their coins. Scaramucci, a participant in this process, predicts that these coins will not flood the market as some fear. He also discusses the $16 billion of capital coming out of the FTX bankruptcy, speculating that a portion of this will re-enter the market, particularly among Bitcoin and Ethereum holders. Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
So I think it's just a cycle. I would just encourage people to look at where the other halvings happened. If you, not to get overly boring with hash rate analysis and what miners have to do to stay competitive and to stay profitable after a halving, right? So remember, you're going from 900 coins a day that the network is spitting out to 450. And so the miners, are, selling a little. They have to keep themselves competitive. And this causes a little bit of a diminution in price. That's starting to end. You can see the hash rates ticking back up. You know that there's some supply overhangs. Okay, the government of Germany, in their infinite wisdom, decided to sell 50,000 coins last month. I don't know why they did that, but they decided to do that. And of course, you have the Mt. Gox bankruptcy, which I'm participating in. And I was told that sometime next week I'm going to receive my requisite number of coins. Of course, I'm not selling my coins. I predict that there will be less of an overhang than people think. And so, people, I would just point this out to you. There's $16 billion of capital coming out of the FTX bankruptcy. Some of that's going to go into the hands of people that want fiat currency because they bought the claims. But some of it isn't. Some of it is going into the hands of people that are Bitcoiners or they're Ethereum owners. And so I see some of that money coming back into the marketplace. So you have these two supply overhangs plus the halving that are causing some churn right now. And I would just caution people not to be selling their Bitcoin into that. Stay patient, wait till the end of the year to see what I think will be very robust price appreciation. I completely agree, but I think the market is telling you something. Firm bid for Bitcoin. Ethereum is in place now. There may be some churn because there'll be some people selling to get into the trust, vice versa, a little bit of churn like we experienced with the Bitcoin ETFs. But there's a firm bid. And have you looked at these numbers from BlackRock? Have you taken a look at the numbers recently for BlackRock? So you had me on the show about 6 months ago, and I said to you, listen, I'm on Wall Street for almost 4 decades. And what I want to tell your viewers and listeners is that Wall Street is a selling machine. Wall Street, there will be thousands, tens of thousands of people that are in the marketplace right now telling clients 1% exposure to Bitcoin, 0.5% exposure to Bitcoin, 1% exposure to Ethereum. There'll be tactical asset allocation portfolios where the recommendation will be you're underinvested in Bitcoin, and so therefore you're short Bitcoin, and so therefore you need exposure to Bitcoin. This is happening as you and I are speaking, and if you're picking up $500 million of net inflows per day, that's going higher, Scott. That's not going lower, okay? Because the selling machine of Wall Street is just starting, and you typically have a 1-year selling cycle, meaning I call Scott Melker and say, hey, how are you? You're, my client forever. I say, I want you to own Bitcoin. Well, I don't really understand it. Okay, let me come and explain it to you. And all of a sudden, 6-8 months later, you're like, you know what? I trust you. Put a percent in my portfolio. Put 2% in my portfolio. And by the way, the wirehouses have not even started yet, and I have wires into the wirehouses. And, they're going to be coming online probably by Labor Day. So you'll have places like Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, and others, legions of brokers, legions of financial advisors going to their clients and saying, let's have a 1 or 2% exposure. So when I call for a $170,000 price post-halving, 18 months from the halving, it's based on rising demand and, less supply. Yeah, they've done 19 point something billion. They're a couple $100 million above QQQ. You just have to think about how staggering that is. And that's only one of 11 other ETFs that are out there that are also raising money. Moreover, BlackRock has added to their tactical asset allocation portfolio a sliver of Bitcoin. Imagine what other people start to do that. And last quick point, the state of Wisconsin disclosed $150 or so million into Bitcoin. Why are they doing that? I'm in this industry a long time. They don't want to be underexposed they know 6 months, a year from now, somebody's going to say, well, an appropriate tactical asset allocation model for an institution like yours is 1% exposure to Bitcoin. So they're looking at that saying, well, let me get it now before everyone else gets it. Let me start the process of getting in the exposure game before everybody else. And so all of this stuff is positive momentum for the industry. And obviously, I would like to see Vice President Harris speak at this event because I think it'll really help us in terms of getting the message out there globally that the U.S. is open for business in the world of digital assets.
He criticizes the current regulatory approach led by figures like Senator Elizabeth Warren and SEC Chairman Gary Gensler, labeling it as obstructive to innovation. However, he remains optimistic about potential changes in the regulatory environment, especially if there is a shift in political leadership. Scaramucci believes that both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump would adopt more crypto-friendly stances if elected, leading to positive regulatory reforms. Scaramucci calls for a bipartisan approach to cryptocurrency regulation. He emphasizes that pro-crypto and fair regulatory policies should transcend political affiliations. Drawing a parallel with the U.S. border policy changes between the Trump and Biden administrations, he warns against reactionary policymaking. Instead, he advocates for a progressive and bipartisan regulatory framework that fosters innovation and growth in the crypto industry. He also highlights the strategic political considerations, noting that recognizing the growing number of crypto holders as significant voters could influence policy decisions.
I think her team knows that they have to relax their regulatory stance on the Bitcoin stuff. I believe that the regulatory axis of evil, which is represented by Senator Elizabeth Warren and the real-life Jiminy Cricket, Gary Gensler, I think those two people are gone. I think they've embarrassed themselves. People will look back on this era of U.S. regulation and two, semi-octogenarians, I guess. I don't know how old Gensler is, but Warren's heading for 80. These two people tried to botch, stall, delay U.S. innovation in financial services. And so it's crazy that they would do something like that, but it's entrenched very deeply inside the SEC. And so I guess the good news is that they're a little paralyzed right now because you could have a regime change, either way. Because if Kamala Harris gets in, she's going to clean shop. She's made it very clear that she's going to do that. If Donald Trump gets in, you and I both know he'll clean shop, and there'll be more pro-crypto people at the SEC come November. So that's good news for the industry. I think one of the most appalling things that's happened in my lifetime in financial services is good actors like Kraken, good actors like Coinbase are being lit up by U.S. regulators for literally no reason. I had the opportunity, just by good fortune, to be with Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss on the 4th of July. We were all at the same beach club together. And we may be on different sides of the political spectrum in terms of who our presidential candidates are, but we're not on opposite sides as it relates to U.S. regulation. And I think that the good news is we're going to have better actors in the regulatory framework, Scott. And so I'm happy about that. I think that's good. And I just want to say this because you and I are in the industry. You're in it longer than me, but I'm older than you. I just a public service message to everybody listening in. Whatever your political persuasion is, if you're with crypto, I'm with you. And so there's no need to make it personal. There's no need to fight with each other. You're pro-crypto, I'm pro-crypto. You're pro-fair regulation for the industry, I'm pro-fair regulation for the industry. But I will just say this to people. You want this to be bipartisan, because if it's not bipartisan, what ends up happening is one side will be against something that the other side is for in a knee-jerk reaction, okay? And so Joe Biden did this with the border. Whether you like Trump or dislike Trump, he had the border under better control in the Trump administration than the Biden administration. But the first thing Biden did was he reversed all the executive orders to prove that he was the opposite of Trump. And so this sort of knee-jerk reaction that takes place with our political leaders is the wrong strategy. And so I'm for positive, pro-growth, innovative regulatory rubric, and I want it to be bipartisan. Donald Trump, say whatever you want about him, he's a smart politician. If you're looking at 40 million wallets, and you've got somebody like Vivek Ramaswamy in your ear saying, hey man, there's 40 million wallets, many of these people are single issue voters. Do you want to give that up to the Democrats, or do you want to make that a neutral situation, or do you want to react? And then look at what the Winklevoss twins did. Others in the industry, they started lighting him up with campaign donations, signaling to people that if you're for us, we're with you. And so my message to the Democrats has been, hey guys, neutralize this situation. Get out there. I think if Vice President Harris speaks at the Bitcoin conference, that is great for the industry. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, whoever you would like to be president in 2025, if you're in this industry, you want that president, he or she, to be pro-positive regulatory reform that's innovative and that benefits this industry.
Scaramucci concludes by discussing the contributions of key industry players like the Winklevoss twins, who are actively involved in shaping the political and regulatory landscape for cryptocurrencies. He stresses the importance of industry leaders supporting political candidates who favor positive regulatory reforms. By doing so, the crypto community can ensure that future policies will support the growth and development of digital assets. Please like and subscribe my channel.